North Carolina vinyl picker here, coming to you on a Sunday night. Yeah, it's time for the North Carolina Vinyl Picker Show, brought to you by Big Chief Vinyl 57. Yep, that's my Discogs channel. And I sell records and I sell 45s and all kinds of stuff. 8 tracks. I have cassettes in there, some Blu-rays. So people have been shopping lately. I've been buying all kinds of stuff. So I'm real fortunate, and I appreciate everybody that has bought things from my store. Trying to weed out some of the stuff I don't want, and then I use that money, flip it around, and I buy stuff so I can bring it to the table and show you. But I'm also thrifting. So this week I went out and I thrifted a few times, and we found a few things, found a few pickups, and I got some things to show you that I got from my call it heavy rotation. We'll call it heavy rotation because I'm rotating my. It's been going on now for about 6 months, and I've picked up a lot of gaps, a lot of things I needed and wanted. I've been picking them up. The things that I'm looking for are bands like Camel, which they get no love in the vinyl community. Some of their records, I ain't never going to find those in a thrift store. So, and then if I go to a record store, most likely the bands that I listen, a lot of the bands I listen to are UK progressive rock bands. And there just isn't a whole lot of that in my area. Few things, every now and then get a few things. So, yeah, you can also find me on Instagram. I'm on there, North Carolina Vinyl Picker. Also, I was just gutted this week by the news of Steve. I got Steve on the brain. Jeff Beck. I've been a fan of Jeff Beck all my I can't remember a time when I didn't listen to Jeff Beck. Of course, it started back, for me, it started with Blow by Blow and Wired and those albums. I don't go back as far as the other albums, but I have picked them up and listened to them. The ones with Rod Stewart and Ronnie Wood and stuff. But yeah, so for me, Jeff Beck, my journey with Jeff Beck starts with the Jazz Fusion. And that was one of the first Jazz Fusion bands that I ever listened to. And as you can see over here on my shelf over, those are all Jazz Fusion records. And I've been trying to get into mid-century jazz. It's a struggle, let me tell you, it's a struggle. There's just not, I don't know, I'm just not picking it up, I guess. I'm trying. Trying John Coltrane and a few other bands from that mid-century period, and I'm trying, let's just put it that way. It's a work in progress. It's not something I listen to every day, that's for sure. My pickups for the week, I'm going to go through those. Then I'm going to shout out. I'll go ahead and do the shout outs right now. These are people that have been commenting on my videos and my shorts. I've been doing a lot of shorts, and you'll see those on my YouTube channel. Malaya, yeah. I'd like to thank her for subbing me up and also subscribing. Sorry for my bad English. Solage, L.E. Dan S, Psych 67. These are people all that have been commenting on my shorts and my videos. Harry's Music Room. Harry's Music Room. I've been watching for about a year now. First seen him coming on Rachel's show, and Harry's has a wide variety of musical taste, and he also has sales. I've bought records from Harry's, very legit. You can get some really good deals from Harry, and he does 45s. He sells in record shows, and he shows a lot of great records, and he's commented on some of the records that I've shown. So yeah, sub up Harry's Music Room and those other people, Malaya, Solish, L.E., and Dan S, Psych 67. And also give Stoner some love. And the Old Goat, both had birthdays this week, coming up last week and this week. So, you know, both of them are older than dirt. So, you know, you got to give the love when you can. You know, I'm catching up to them. We're gonna pull 5 concert tickets. That'll be fun. I don't know what I'm gonna pull, but I was there. Some of them I remember being there, and some of them I just don't remember going at all. So, all depends how much you smoke and how much you've been drinking. So here we go. Let's go ahead and run through these pickups, and we'll start with some CDs. Found this one today at Big Bob's Thrift over in Lenore, No, it wasn't in Lenore. It was in Valdez, North Carolina. Big Jim's Country Buffet or something. I don't know what. It's some kind of antique mall, and they got little booths and stuff in there. I went through maybe 100 records today and didn't find anything. But the lady had a box of CDs, and I found this one, Phil Collins. I love Phil Collins. I love Genesis. This looks pretty cool next to my orange sweatshirt here. Phil Collins, Dance Into the Light. This is one of his last albums he did. And then this came out in 96 already. Yeah, so it's quite a long time ago. But it's a cool album. I like it. Didn't have it. In 96 was a hard time to get vinyl, so you had to get CDs. And there's a shit ton of these around. But you never see them. That's the first one I've seen in a long time. I didn't have a copy of that, so I picked it up. It was $2. This one I got in the mail, Steve Rothery. Steve Rothery, of course, is from Marillion. He's the guitar player. And, yeah, this album's called The Ghost of Pripyat. I think that's over in Russia or somewhere over there in that part of the world. And it starts off with a song on here it's called Morpheus, features Steve Hackett. And then the third song on here is The Old Man and the Sea, and it's Steve Hackett and Steven Wilson, who's my favorite two artists, are both on there. So there you go. Spyro Gyra. This is an album I did not have of theirs. I have almost a complete collection on CD and a few LPs of Spyro Gyra. This is an enhanced CD. Paid $1 for it. In Modern Times. I had never seen that one before. Now I have in my collection. These next one here is motion soundtrack to Twister, and it has a Tori Amos song on here, and also a Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham song that they did together called Twisted. I don't think I've ever heard that. I didn't know that they did anything together like that since their debut album before they joined Fleetwood Mac. Tori Amos does Tallulah on here, the BT's Tornado mix, so I'll have to give that a listen. It's one of the CDs I've been looking for. Anything with Tori Amos on it, I'm going to pick it up. So I have she's on quite a few soundtracks from the 90s. Vangelis themes. Not only did I find one copy of this, but there was two there. Two mints in one, or two Vangelises in one. So there you go. Pretty cool, huh? There, I'm back again. So, yeah, Vangelis themes. This is all soundtracks from the movies they did. Theme from Antarctica is on here. Theme from Missing. The theme from Blade Runner. Chariots of Fire. Yeah, they're all on here. You know the songs. You love them. If anybody's looking for these, they'll be in my store. And the Twister and the Spyro Gyra and the Steve Rothery and the Phil Collins will be in my collection. So there you go. That's my CDs. Let's get on to the vinyl. And I did pretty good. Ooh, Lordy. They don't get no lighter, you know that? Well, this one here I've been listening to for the past hour or so. It's Camel, a live record. And this, I'll take this out of so you can see it better. And this album came out a long time ago, I'll tell you that much. Came out in the 70s, and it's just a great Camel retrospective of their music, and with Pete Bardens on here before Pete Bardens left and went solo. And of course I don't have a date on there, but this is the Decca 78. So this is the Decca recording. This is the UK version, and this is the one to get, and it sounds great on my stereo. So I highly recommended that. I did not have that Camel album. Surprise, surprise. And this one here is The Fence. If anybody out there has ever heard of The Fence, they're a band with Adam Holtzman. Adam Holtzman, keyboard player for Steven Wilson's band. And I think he went to Juilliard or one of those big music places in colleges in New York City. His father was a musician. And he plays keys, and he did a lot of stuff before he joined Steve Wilson. This band here, this album here is from '83. So this is jazz fusion at its finest. They did 2 albums. I think I showcased the other one like last week or 2 weeks ago. I have it on CD, and I also have it on vinyl. You can find their records really cheap. I didn't know they had this album. This was actually their first album. I never heard it before, but I have now, and I'm glad I got it. So they're called The Fence. This one here, again, with Adam Holtzman and Craig Blundell and Nick Beggs. They came out with an album last year, and it's a jazz fusion album. And these are the three men who are in Steven Wilson's band. They're his band. Besides him, it's these three here, and then the keyboard player, who the keyboard player is not in here. Keyboard player is Richard Barberi, and he's from a band called Japan. He was in a band called Japan, I think, in the 80s. I don't have any knowledge of that because I wasn't listening to that kind of stuff in the 80s. I was listening to the leftovers from the 70s. So here you go. This album here, if you don't have this and you love jazz fusion, if you love Steven Wilson, then if you like his band, then you need to get this album right here. This is the album for you. And I got this on eBay or Amazon, I think, and it wasn't very much. It was like 20 bucks. So it's not an expensive record. You don't have to buy it on, you don't have to get the CD because it's cheaper. The album wasn't that much. And this one here, McDonald and Giles. This is pre-King Crimson, right around the same time as the Court of the Crimson King. This is a promo. I was able to get this week. Somebody was selling one on eBay, and it was a really good price. So that's better. So I picked it up, and I already had a copy. I have an original UK that sounds really good. It's got two little scratches in it. It doesn't affect the play of it, and I put it in my store. So if you're interested, it's a little pricey, but I put it in my store. But this one here wasn't cheap either, and I got it. It's a promo. So if you don't know who McDonald and Giles were, they were on the first 2 or 3, I believe, King Crimson albums, at least the first one. Yeah, McDonald and Giles. Great album, great album. This one here, this another promo. This must have been promo week. I found a copy of this online. Of course, this is yesterday's. And this is this album they did. It was right after, I think it was right after Tales. This was 74, yeah. So it would have been the time that they were moving between Wakeman and Mraz. But this album here is a best of. And it has, it tells you right here, America, Looking Around, Time and a Word, Sweet Dreams, Then, Survival, Astral Traveler, Dear Father. You know all the songs. If you love early Yes, then you know this album. And my other copy of this is in my store. So if you're interested, it's there. This one here, of course, Camel. And this is the extended 12-inch from Stationary Traveler. And this is Cloak and Dagger. Man, I didn't know this even existed. So it came up on my Discogs, and I went ahead and this was like $10. This was cheap. And this is an import from, right now, shouldn't tell you, but Camel albums on Discogs and eBay are real inexpensive. It's not a band everyone has a taste for. Or, I mean, if you love Camel, now's the time to pick up some vinyl or CDs. This is a great, great 12-inch single. And extended mix. Pressure Points is on the B side of that Cloak and Dagger, man, and that's from Stationary Traveler. This is a Porcupine Tree album that I didn't have on vinyl, Up the Downstairs, and it's actually their second album. Now I have it on vinyl. If somebody was getting rid of it on Discogs, and I picked it up for about $22, $23, which was a really great deal. I'm only missing like one more record on vinyl, and I'll have all of Porcupine Tree's albums on vinyl. I have everything on CD, and these next 1, 2, 3 records, save these for last. Dan Fogelberg, these were all dollar records. These here I'm going to put in the store. Dan Fogelberg, The Innocent Age. This is a really nice copy of this record. I've always seen this record, it's missing the book, or the record's all scratched to hell. It's got a couple of his big songs on here. Leader of the Band, Same Old Lang Syne, Run for the Roses. This was like, I think it's probably his most popular album. It's a double album. And I don't know if there's a lot of Dan Fogelberg fans out there, but I like his voice. He died relatively young. And so this is a nice copy. I'll clean it up and use the magic eraser on here. Put it in the store. This is a little bit late for this, but I found this. This is $1. And this was really clean. This is the 6i Columbia. It's really clean, all ready to go for next Christmas. If anybody's interested, this will be in my store. And yeah, Merry Christmas from, who is that guy? Oh, Johnny Mathis, of course. Yeah, and this one here, I bought just as a goof, but the copy's pretty good. Needs a little cleaning, needs to go in the Humming Guru. It's, of course, it's Golly. Yeah, Gomer Pyle. Yeah, Gomer Pyle, Shazam. Yeah, he sings all kinds of songs on here. What does he sing? You Can't Roller Skate in the Buffalo Herd. Yeah, plus all his big hits were all on here. So this was a pickup. I don't know if somebody out there loves comedy records. I know there's a few people out there. So I've never seen this record in a while. This is the first time. And for that price, I wasn't going to leave it behind. I wasn't going to leave Gomer, you know. I'm going to leave Gomer. So that's about all I got for that. Where are we at? 15 minutes. Let's go ahead and dive into the bucket here. Let's get into the bucket. What do we got in here? Okay, we got one right here. King Crimson. March the 3rd would have been about 82 is when I was stationed up in Groton, Connecticut. And we went to Toad's place. And I don't remember who went with me. But we went and saw King Crimson. And this was during the time of Discipline. Discipline had just come out, and it was the 80s, and it had that 80s sound, and everybody was into it. And matter of fact, I just shipped out a copy today of that album to a lucky man that lives in California somewhere. So, yeah, I didn't want it any longer. I really just want the early King Crimson up to the 80s. And after that, well, I did see the Thrax tour. I wouldn't mind having that CD back in my collection. Thrax was a good album. That's with Bruford again. When Bruford came back for that album. And I got to see, I told you that story where I had the button on and stuff. I was with my nephew Peter, and it was a shit show, let me tell you. But we got to see the show. I went there. I didn't go there to see Robert Fripp. I went there to see Bill Bruford. But I got told off by Robert Fripp and almost had to hit the door, buddy. Imagine that. Big Chief giving somebody a hard time. No, I didn't do that. Don't believe it. So anyway, King Crimson was a great show. And I remember seeing old the guitar player. He was crazy. Adrian Ballou up front. Man, I've seen a lot of crazy shows. What we got here? At the Spectrum. I can't tell what something presents the Spectrum. That's in Philly. Must have been Genesis. I think the only time I ever went to the Spectrum is when I seen Genesis over there in the Wind and Weathering tour. So I'm going to say that's this one here. And there's no date on this ticket. It's only a half a ticket. $6.67. So you know that was a long time ago. And if that was the Spectrum show, then I saw the Madison Square Garden show the night before this of the Wind and Weathering tour with the complete Genesis before Steve Hackett left the band, and then it turned into a pop band. But anyway, there's the ticket stub for that show. Let me dive in here and see if I find another one for the Spectrum for Genesis. We'll have to find that one. I'll have to figure out what that was. Oh, here we go. Radio City Music Hall was where I saw Rush. September 23rd, 1983. I seen Rush, and opening for them was Marillion, and they were on the Fugazi tour. Rush was on the album where it has the countdown of the space shuttle. Anybody out there knows? Just write it down in the comment section. You, Billy over there, you got your hand up? Yeah, I think that you got it right. Yeah, that's what it is. And Radio City Music Hall. The only time I ever got to go to Radio City Music Hall, and I saw Rush with Marillion opening. And I'm not sure who I went to that concert with either, to tell you the truth. Memory almost full. Isn't that a Paul McCartney album? Cellar Door, Hampton Coliseum, the Doobie Brothers. I don't remember who I went with this either. This is a long time ago. I remember, what do I remember about this show? I think this was the show. I had my Opel GT. I went to the show. I had a pair of binoculars I was going to bring into the show. Back then, you could bring stuff in. This was Friday at 8 o'clock in December sometime. So it must have been cold as hell at Hampton Coliseum in Virginia. I brought some binoculars. I did not bring them into the show. I forgot them. I left them in the back seat of the car. I went in and saw the show and left. I think I was by myself. I don't think I had anybody go with me. I seen The Firm there too, with Jimmy Page and Paul Rogers, but that's a different show for a different ticket. So, yeah, Doobie Brothers, that was a great show. Only time I got to see them. They were with Michael McDonald, by the way. It was during that Living on the Fault Line, right around that time. Okay, this is number 5. Number 5. What do we got here? Peter Gabriel, 14th Street and 3rd Avenue at the Palladium in New York City. Miller Time at the Palladium, New York City. I don't remember this show. I don't remember going to this show, let alone who I went with. But that's cool. I went to scene. This must have been, what year was this? This is live. You're seeing this live. This was in 82. I thought this show, this must have been Peter Plays Live show, where we passed him around the audience and stuff. I thought that was in New Haven, though, New York, or New Haven, Connecticut. I guess it was in New York, the Palladium in New York. I guess that's what this one was. When we get down further, if we find one for Gabriel, the album Plays Live, I saw that show, and I thought it was the same place I saw AJ at, but I could be wrong. You're seeing this on this? I'm not. you get all the bumps and bruises and everything here with the show here, and all the forget-me-nots. But 1982 November, again in the wintertime. Peter Gabriel, great show. Pass him around. From what I remember, he was being passed around just off to the left of me, and he had his headset on, and what a great show. I seen Gabriel twice. No, I seen Gabriel 3 times by himself. That's for the other 2 shows for another day. Okay, I'll put those in the envelope. I've rattled on long enough, 22 minutes. And everybody support them troops out there and be good. And next week, make it an easy week. Don't work too hard out there. What we got going on? That's it. I guess we talked about everything. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. There ain't much time left. Looks like the Giants won. So let's go blue, man. I got nothing to cheer about since in a long time. I can't remember the last time I was cheering so hard for the Giants, my team. It's been a long time, long dry spell. Yeah. So have a great rest of your day, and we'll be talking to you soon. Take care out there. Talk to you later. North Carolina Vinyl Picker out.